Egypt that has been at the forefront of diplomatic efforts to protect Palestinian rights and also preserve their homeland. Now, how did you view Egypt's diplomatic efforts so far evolving with the new summit that is to take place, and what do you think its primary objectives should be?
Egypt has taken prompt action since the beginning of the Gaza war in order to safeguard the foundational principles of the Palestinian cause. Because since the beginning, Egypt and the President of Egypt, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, clearly said that Egypt sensed that there is a scheme to eventually or ultimately uproot the indigenous population, Palestinian population of the Gaza Strip from Gaza, which is an act of ethnic cleansing. Back then, Egypt made it very clear that it stands against such designs and that it will resist the implementation of such designs, and it mobilized Arab and international support back then. And then for over a year, no one spoke of implementing such scenarios until President Donald Trump was inaugurated. And a couple of weeks into his second term, he decided to entertain the idea, but rather more forcefully, and trying to shove it down everyone's throat by force, essentially. However, Egypt again voiced its complete opposition to this plan. It mobilized Arab and international support, as we have seen, the European Union, Germany, France, the United Kingdom even, Brazil, Russia, China. Both the foes and the allies of the United States stand united against such a plan, and also even, of course, the entirety of the Arab world. And now Egypt planning and pushing for this summit, which will be hosted in Cairo, and this has its sheer symbolism, especially that Egypt is not providing over the Arab summit this year. It's Bahrain, so that's why the Egyptian government, in coordination with Bahrain, decided to host the summit in order to create a united Arab front against such designs, in order to safeguard and protect and guarantee the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people. What is being called for is nothing short of a sinister act of ethnic cleansing, which is criminalized under international law, especially international humanitarian law and international human rights law.
Dr. Osman, the Egyptian government has always rejected and repeatedly has rejected the forced displacement of the Palestinians, and it was obvious in all its statements carried out by the highest ranking officials and the leadership itself. Now, in your opinion, what are the potential risks if such proposals continue to be pushed forward by the external powers? And what do you think Egypt's strategies to counter such attempts would be?
Again, I will use the words that were used by the Egyptian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Egyptian President himself. Trying to enforce or implement such a plan or a scheme to displace or uproot the Palestinians from their lands will be detrimental to the stability and the overall security of the region. And this cannot be overstated in any other sense, because it will actually lead to the expansion of the conflict rather than instead of containing it. And I think that Egypt wants to deliver this message and this entire concept and its actual reality to the current U.S. administration and to the Israelis as well. That Israeli expansionism cannot be veiled under the pretext of the humanitarian evacuation of the residents of Gaza in order to serve the expansionist aims of the Israeli state, which threatens in turn the national security of its neighboring states, especially Jordan and Egypt, whom the U.S. is trying to convince to take in the Palestinians. And actually, I think and I believe that trying to enforce such a scenario would, number one, mean the end of Egypt's strategic and historical partnership with the United States. This is a very, very strong relationship and a very strong partnership that both sides have benefited from, that was established on the basis of equality and mutual respect. If the United States is not willing to sacrifice, I believe at least, is not willing to sacrifice this partnership that it invested on for the past 46 years.